What's up, people? How y'all doing? So, I just want to get right into this one because I think this topic is really serious and it's something that people are tormented by and they don't realize it. And it's unnamed, really. People just think this is how life is and that's how it's supposed to be, but I want to make an objection for that, okay? So, what I'm talking about, the torment that everybody is going through, is lust. Okay, so a lot of people are being tormented by lust, but nobody wants to call it lust because the second you say lust, everybody starts thinking about somebody taking their clothes off. But no, lust is way bigger than sex. Okay? You can lust for money, lust for attention, lust for power, lust for validation, lust for somebody else's life, lust for revenge, lust for success, lust for being seen. You can even lust for a future so badly that you become completely ungrateful for what God has gave you today. Okay? So lust is an appetite that forgot how to say enough. That's the problem. Desire says, I would like that. Lust says, I need that before I can be okay. And once we get something, we just want something else. So, like, when is it ever enough? You know, and most people don't stop to even think about that or question it or whatever, you know. So, once you tell your soul, I cannot be okay until I get this thing, congratulations. You just handed yourself that thing, which is a leash you just put around your own neck. Now it can walk you. And some of us are getting walked all over the place. Okay? You ever watch somebody chasing something they swear is going to make them happy? Then they finally get it. 5 minutes later. Okay. What else? That is lust. Okay? Lust is a terrible landlord. The rent is always due, and the apartment is never furnished. Nothing is ever enough. That woman isn't enough. That man isn't enough. The amount of money isn't enough. Those followers aren't enough. That applause isn't enough. That promotion isn't enough. You get $10,000 and suddenly 20,000 looks really attractive, right? You get 20,000 and now 50 is calling your name. You get attention from one person and suddenly you need everybody in the room looking at you. You prayed for what you have now, and lust got you looking over the fence like God forgot your address, you know? That thing will make you blind because when you lust after something, you stop seeing what really is. You start seeing what you want it to be, and that's very dangerous. That's why lust makes people ignore warning signs. Everybody around you can see fire. You're standing there talking about it feels warm. Yeah, because you're burning. Lust will make you an intelligent person. Navigate with the intelligent person, you. Navigate with stupidity. Okay? It'll have you explaining away things you would immediately recognize in somebody else's life. You don't understand? Oh, we understand. You want it? That's why you can't see straight. And lust makes you deaf as well. People can warn you. God can convict you. Your own conscience can be screaming. You can barely hear. Oh, but lust has surround sound. You can barely hear anything else. Proverbs talks about a way that seems right to a person but ends in destruction because it's human knowledge. That's one of the frightening things about uncontrolled desire. While it is destroying you, it can still feel completely reasonable. James says desire, when it is conceived and allowed to grow, gives birth to sin, and sin eventually brings forth death, destruction, separation from God, right? Notice the progress. It starts as desire, something small, something whispering, I want. Then it grows, I need. Then it becomes, I deserve. And once you reach, I deserve, now you can justify almost anything. That's when people start betraying their own values while still believing they are the victim. They betray their own values and their own people. Gotta be careful. And why? And this is why I don't believe a person can remain deeply lustful and still be happy at the same time. And completely impossible. Okay? You might experience pleasure, absolutely. Lust can give you pleasure. Lust can give you excitement. Lust can give you adrenaline. Lust can give you a night you'll never forget. Sure. What lust cannot not give you is rest. And happiness without rest eventually becomes exhaustion. How are you going to have peace when your mind is constantly saying, more, more, more? Look at them. Look what they have. Go get that. You need this. You're missing something. You should be further ahead. Somebody else has more. Somebody else looks better. Somebody else is living better. Keep scrolling. Keep chasing. Keep consuming. Keep proving yourself. Man, keep proving yourself. Right? Man, when do you ever sit down? You got to prove yourself. You got to keep chasing. You got to keep scrolling. You got to keep up with the times. When do you ever have time to sit down and appreciate your own self and those around you? The moment, I don't even want to blame it on this, but the moment those phones came out, those sidekicks, I felt those, the text sidekicks, Blackberries, whatever. I felt a shift in the nature of the world, People cared less. People was more self-indulgent, whatever, They used their own bodies as an idol because hundreds of people liked their stuff in seconds. So they became like gods to themselves. Their butts became their gods. Their chests became their gods. Things like that, Handsome men that knew they could get women like this. They were just in people's inboxes. Like, that's all they cared about, This one, that one, that one. It was evil. AIM came out where, like, it was I don't know if y'all know about AIM, but it was like a messenger and you could have like 20 conversations going at once. It was craziness. Like, when did we ever have a chance to just sit back and we were no longer kids. We were no longer going out and playing football. We were on that all day trying to get the baddest woman or whatever, desires, lust, things like that. And soon after it became pornography on the internet everywhere. It was like, yo, the whole thing just shifted. I don't know, because I was young growing up in this, so for me the world just changed, and that just was how it was. I didn't even never question it. I was too young. My friends were losing their virginities and stuff. I might have been lost my virginity by that time, but I can't even remember because I've always been, even as a second grader, we were playing booty tag and things like that. Like, I've always been ambitious when it came to women, and like, I don't know. It was crazy now to think about it, that we objectified so many women, and they objectified us, and we didn't care about each other at all. We just saw what we wanted to see and just get what we wanted to get, and then manipulation starts. And in the hood, that's how people got set up. A man would be on the other side of the screen acting like a woman, going to meet up, and boom, he gets set up and killed. That's when all of that started, and that's when, crazy. It was bonkers, still is, but just going back to that time, just thinking about all of that is just wow. So, yeah, so keep consuming, keep proving yourself. Man, when do you ever sit down, right? Your body might be on the couch, but your appetite is running a marathon. That is torment. And the world knows how to feed it. The whole system is built around convincing you that something is missing, because a content person is difficult to sell to, but make somebody feel inadequate. Now you can sell them anything. You need this car, you need this body, you need this relationship, you need this money, you need everybody to respect you, you need everybody to know your name. And meanwhile, God is saying, what if you learned how to receive? What if you can enjoy beauty without needing to process it? What if somebody else can succeed without you feeling diminished? What if you can see an attractive person and not turn them into an object? What if you could want money without worshiping it? What if you could pursue your dreams without hating every day before you reach them? That's freedom. Paul said he learned how to be content, whether he had plenty or whether he had little. Notice, he said he learned. Contentment is learned, because naturally the flesh does not come out saying, I have enough. The flesh wakes up with a shopping list, and if you let it run your life, it will send you searching for water in places that have never contained a drop. Jesus said, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Think about how wild that question is. He basically said, suppose you win. Suppose you actually get everything. Everybody knows your name. Everybody wants you. You get the money, you get the house, you get the body, you get the applause, you get revenge. You prove everybody wrong. You stand on top of the mountain, then look down and realize you left yourself at the bottom. What did you win? Lust always promises fulfillment somewhere in the future. Once I get this, once she wants me, once he chooses me, once I make this, once I make enough, once they respect me, once I become somebody. But peace keeps saying something completely different. You better learn how to live now. Okay? Because if you cannot appreciate 10, you probably will not appreciate 100. And if you cannot handle being unseen, attention, it may destroy you. You cannot handle being alone, a relationship may become your God. If you cannot handle having a little money, more money might just finance your dysfunction. Sometimes God is not withholding something from you. Sometimes he is protecting you from receiving something your appetite would turn into an idol. And maybe the real battle is not, how do I finally get everything I want? Maybe the battle is, why does everything I want have so much power over me? that question will expose some things. Because there are things you can think you love that are really just lust. Love can release. Lust has to possess. Love can wait. Lust panics. Love sees clearly. Lust fantasizes. Love gives. Lust consumes. Love can hear no. Lust hears not yet and starts losing its mind. And love can say, I desire you, but I do not need to destroy myself to have you. That is maturity. So check your appetite, not just your bedroom, your appetite. What are you constantly staring at? What are you constantly thinking about? What makes you jealous? What makes you restless? What makes you feel like your life is somehow insufficient? What thing have you quietly told yourself, if I could just get that, then I will finally be happy? Be careful. Because anything you assign the responsibility of saving you will eventually become your master. And creation was never built to do the job of the creator. Some of us don't need more. We need our eyesight back. We need our hearing back. We need our gratitude back. We need our abilities to sit in a room without needing somebody to envy us. We need to eat a meal without photographing it for approval. We need to accomplish something without immediately asking, what's next? We need to look at what God has already gave us and recognize, man, I was so busy chasing the next blessing, I didn't even notice I was standing inside of an answered prayer. That's what lust steals. It doesn't only steal purity, it steals presence. If you cannot be present, you cannot fully enjoy anything. Because while your hands are holding today, your mind is already sleeping with tomorrow. He who has ears, let him hear. Because nobody isn't going to hear this. Because everybody isn't going to hear this. Some people are going to keep chasing, keep consuming, keep comparing, keep needing more. And they may even look successful doing it. That's the sad part. But you better learn the difference between having a hunger and being eaten alive by one. So, do not let lust eat you alive, my friend. Heed my warning, please. And if you want destruction, just keep going. Keep chasing, keep lusting, keep destroying. All right? So, I love you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Let you prosper, my friend. Peace.